So in this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Liquid Saffire 56, which is the big guy, and then I've got the Pro40 up top, which is the slightly smaller Firewire interface. I have them hooked up so that this one is running into this one, and then the 56 is what's connected to the computer. When you do it that way, you have to have the 40 as the clock, which then locks it with the Liquid Saffire 56. So our first major purchase when we were getting recording gear was the Pro40, and I like the preamps because they're nice and clean. Then I had another. I was using like a Behringer unit at one point. That thing was awful. Then eventually got a PreSonus unit, and that was pretty good. And then decided I wanted to try to upgrade to the 56 because I found one on eBay that was a little bit cheaper, and it comes with the liquid preamps, which are supposed to emulate classic pre's of the past. I don't want to say that I'm disappointed with it, but compared to analog modeling stuff that a company like Slate Digital does, which has like a big wow factor, doesn't really seem to have too much of a wow factor. I haven't been able to find any liquid pre's that I'm like fall in love with. But the big advantage really to the Liquid Saffire 56 is that you've just got more options as far as setting up everything. Now obviously you can do that in the DAW after the fact, but it is nice to just kind of record things a little bit cleaner going in. I don't record with any compression on the way in, but you know, those channels that need high pass filters, I've got the high pass filters on. They've also got pads and phase flips on the Liquid Saffire 56 that you don't get with the Pro40. I guess the trade-off there though is that they don't do the combo inputs for the 56. They're the better ones. I'll show you the back. So it's like a dedicated either 1/4 inch in or tip ring sleeve in, or a just regular mic cable jack. The Pro40 has the Neutrik combo ones, and I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but I think having the extra bank is better. The inputs are better. So like I said, that's the way I've got them connected up. It's through the ADAT, which moves the channels. Those 8 channels out of the Pro40 flow through into the 56, which then ends up going into the computer through that Firewire connection. The Saffire stuff is great because it's clean. The difference between like lower end preamps and stuff like this was amazing, and I can only imagine what, you know, high end preamps are like, you know, but the quality here is pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with it. So that's part of our kind of rehearsal rig. So I record every rehearsal, and we've also got a headphone amp that we run, and then this is just an EQ for the PA speakers in here to try to avoid feedback as much as possible. It's hard just because the way the room is laid out. So when we rehearse, we do headphone rehearsals every once in a while where we'll get a click going in everybody's ear, and that's been a really powerful tool for getting the band tighter and starting to really, you know, iron out all those little things, especially when you're trying to do something complex. It's important. But I've been really happy with both of them. They've been reliable. I haven't had any problems yet, knock on some sort of wood. I would definitely recommend, if you were looking at the 56 versus the Pro40, I would say just a Pro40 and then maybe like an Octapre Mark II would be just as good as what I have here and would be less expensive. It would also take up one less rack space because this one is 2 rack space and this is 1. I think a lot of the extra bells and whistles for the Liquid Saffire have been a little overrated, but I might completely take that back when we get into the tracking session. I've been really excited to try out the liquid pre's on vocals, but I think in the end, using especially some Slate Digital plugins and some, you know, in the box mixing, I think is going to make a bigger difference really than these liquid pre's will anyway. So just kind of my opinion. I don't regret buying the unit. If I did, I wouldn't have kept it. I would have sold it a while ago. It does sound better than the PreSonus unit we had, and those extra little things are nice. The high pass filters and the phase invert things, if you need those things. You can always use them in the box though too, like I said. So there's my video on the two big units. I guess actually I'll hop over and take a look at the software real quick. Just got done rehearsal. So the software part of it is cool, but a little limiting. I'm a little disappointed in that they don't give you any sort of EQ. I think just EQ in the box right here really would have helped a ton. They give you panning and you get a level, and I've got independent headphone mixes for everybody, which is awesome. Like I said, for rehearsals, you know, it's been a valuable tool. But compared to the Motu Ultralight that I have, I've got an Ultralight Mark II or 3, I can't even remember, but that has compression and EQ and reverb actually all in its little processing matrix. And I think when you're doing like a headphone mix, to not be able to EQ anything and carve out a little bit of space does make the headphone mix a little bit cluttered, which has been a little disappointing. The way around that is that everything flows through the mixer that we've got here. Obviously I'm using this primarily to mix our PA speakers, but if you take it out, like the kick and the snare and the toms, those don't go to the PA mains. I'm just using it literally, I've got it running through this just for the EQ section to get a little bit of that, but I think everything would have been better if you could have done it in the software. So I think that's another thing that I'm a little disappointed with, especially for the 56, the Saffire, Liquid Saffire 56. It's a pretty high-end unit, and I'm surprised they didn't bother to include just a simple EQ. Would be amazing. But that's basically the software. The way that I've got the preamps set up, you actually can't do the emulation. That's actually another fun little thing if you're not going in. So you can set the mic input or a line input, but if you have a line, you can't use the preamp emulation. It's only if you have a mic emulation. Now there's a whole bunch of them, which is awesome. And then there's the harmonic setting, which basically is it's adding distortion basically to your signal, but it's like musical distortion. Distortion's probably a little too harsh of a term, but at any rate, if you don't use the mic input, you can't actually use that. So I'm using input 1 and 2 for kick and snare, and I'm not even using the liquid pre's, which is another thing that I'm a little disappointed about, but that's more to do with my particular setup. But if you're not using the mic input, you can't get that. So that's my little overview for the Liquid Saffire. Check out our album, Suds for Spuds. I'm trying to remember now. I can't remember if I even had it actually. I think when we did the drums, I didn't even have the Liquid Saffire yet. So that was the PreSonus and the Pro40. So I don't know. We got a new release in the works. So check out the new album when it drops, and you can decide what you think of the quality of the preamps. Thanks for watching.